We're here to talk about the all-new 2021 Tahoe and Suburban behind me. These are extremely important vehicles for GM, and what they really focused on was increasing the space and making it more usable, basically understanding how these owners really use these vehicles. The best driving dynamics, you have magnetic ride control, adjustable ride height, we're going to get into all those detail, and the best technology in the business. You might have seen in recent years all the great trailering technologies that they've incorporated into the Silverado. Well, you're going to find those in these vehicles that are extremely capable, comfortable, and luxurious. In order to achieve its goals, Chevy had to go to an all-new architecture, which is based on the Silverado pickup truck, and it's a very capable one. What they've done is really focus on the ride, much like Jeep did with the last iteration of the Wrangler. They knew it was capable as far as an off-road vehicle, but they wanted to make it even better on-road, and that's what Chevy has done with these vehicles. So you have an independent rear suspension for the first time, and that alone is going to make for a much better ride. But you also have the fastest suspension system in the world, which is the magnetic ride control. We've been talking about it for about 10 years, started with Cadillac, went to Corvette. It's just the fastest there is. You get that on this high country. And we also have an adjustable ride height. So you have up to 4 inches. So you're loading up, you go all the way down, and you can go up as high as 4 inches. There are 4 different settings if you want to do some off-roading. So a lot of focus on how this vehicle behaves on-road and how people use it on a daily basis. Both the Tahoe and Suburban have grown in size, but it's really the Tahoe that got the most improvement. So the wheelbase on this Tahoe is 4.9 inches longer than the outgoing model, and the overall length 6.7 inches. You're going to get best-in-class cargo room, best-in-class leg room behind the first row, and for the first time ever, that second row slides up to 5 inches. They've never had that before. So a lot of great improvements, but I want to talk about styling a little bit, which is very important for these owners. The outgoing model really looks antiquated compared to this. Much more integrated. You have the new grille design that you're seeing in the pickup trucks. So everything about this car just looks sleeker, more premium, and just is more inviting. These vehicles have come a long way from their days. You know, the Suburban has been around for 85 years. The Tahoe, not as much, but it's in its 5th generation now. So this is the longest running nameplate in the automotive space, period. Suburban's been in movies, you name it. It's a military vehicle, carries a president, etc. So let's get into some of the trim levels and some of the engine options as well. We're driving the top of the line High Country, which comes with a 6.2 liter V8 mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, produces 420 horsepower. The rest of the Tahoe and Suburban trim levels will get the 5.3 liter V8 with 355 horsepower. What's new and exciting about the new Tahoe and Suburban is that now you have a 3.0 liter inline-6 eco diesel engine option, and that produces 460 pound-feet of torque. That's the one you want to use if you're going to be doing a lot of trailering, which according to Chevy, a lot of Suburban and Tahoe owners do. All 3 engine options are only available with the 10-speed automatic transmission. Chevy wanted to focus on 3 things. One is the interior space, which they've certainly done. 2 is technology. 3 is the ride quality. So let's focus on the first 2. We'll start with technology. As expected, you have Apple CarPlay, but what's nice is it's wireless Apple CarPlay, so you don't have to rely on having a cable, and that's what we have right now. We have our phone here. We have our wireless charging system. And then we can click on our Apple CarPlay. The other thing I want to talk about here is a lot of different apps, but this trailering app. So this we first saw in the heavy-duty Silverados, then it trickled down to the regular-duty Silverados, and now we have it here in the Suburban and Tahoe. And we don't have a trailer hooked up right now, but you know, this allows you to set up a profile for each thing that let's just say you have a boat and a motorhome and a few other things. You could set up a profile for each one, so it's very handy. The other thing are the cameras. You have just amazing cameras to not only help you with parking, but to help you with backing up for a trailer if you had one hooked up, etc. So a lot of great tech. The head-up display, 15-inch head-up display. You have an 8-inch multi-information display between the gauges. A lot of very useful information. I mean, just the menu options just go on and on and on. Very user-friendly. And you have the infotainment screen, so that's 3 screens for the driver to give you all the information you could ever imagine. And then in the back, we have 2 entertainment screens that are mounted to the back of the headrest. And what's nice is they're not just for playing music or videos, but also you can navigate, and you could even you've probably seen the commercial for Chevy where the kids are in the back and they want pizza on the way home. They can actually send that to the driver, and the driver has the option of saying, yeah, we'll do it, and then clicks the button and it takes them right to the spot. So just again, Chevy really took a deep dive into how the average Suburban and Tahoe owner are using their vehicles, and this is what they found, and I really think they've done a great job. The steering wheel, I think this is very familiar territory, a lot of the same buttons we've seen in the past, but then again, it's been upgraded. You do have, what's nice over here, you have you have 4 different ground clearances. The first one is entry-exit ground clearance, then it goes to normal, increased, and then maximum ground clearance. And you also have different drive modes. I have to switch to 4-wheel drive. But basically it's normal, there's mud, there's snow, sport. So a lot of different options for the driver. Now we're going to shift to the interior space, where it's really what happens behind the driver's seat is where all the increases happened, especially for the Tahoe. A lot more legroom, considerable more space. You know, when you take a look, and I'm going to cheat here, get my notes. So here are the numbers. All right, for the Tahoe, an extra 4.9 inches of wheelbase, extra 6.7 inches overall length, legroom for the second row added 3 inches, legroom for the third row added 10.1 inches, cargo room behind the third row, an extra 10.2 cubic feet, and maximum cargo room, cubic feet, 28.2. When you look at the Suburban, the wheelbase increased by 4.1 inches, overall length increased by 1.3, legroom second row up 2.3 inches, legroom third row up 2.2 inches, cargo room an additional 1.8 cubic feet, max cargo room cubic feet behind the third row 23 cubic feet. So a lot of improvements to maximize. So the outgoing models, the seats didn't fold level. I don't want to say flat, I'll just call it level. These do, and so it makes it much easier to carry larger bits of cargo. So now what we're going to do is see if they delivered. So we know they delivered on the cargo room and the passenger room, that we know they delivered on the tech. The question is, did they deliver on the performance? And that's what we're going to go find out right now. One of the things that's new for the 2021 Tahoe and Suburban is this push button shifter. I'm okay with it. It's not my favorite. I think I prefer the Ram dial a little bit better, but it's just evolution. Everybody's going to shift by wire. This is GM's version. I'm not going to be overly critical of it. Unfortunately, we don't get to drive the 5.3 liter. We've driven it in the past. It's obviously been updated for this 2021 model, but we do have the 6.2, which is their most powerful, the fastest engine, not the highest torque. This vehicle is definitely not slow. Also, it handles quite nicely. See how quickly we got to 60 miles an hour. The head-up display is wonderful. A lot of good information on the head-up display as well. Navigation tells you the incline you're on. If you just want the speed and the speed limit, this also tells you the lane departure's on. One of the things I would have liked to see, if they are so big on tech, why not bring Super Cruise technology from the Cadillac CT6 into this vehicle? These are the vehicles that are going to be taken on long hauls by families, and I think that's just great technology, especially on these wide open highways, that works. But they haven't done that. As you can see, no shortage of power. The 10-speed automatic, it could be a little bit unresponsive at times, but I think if it's not fast enough for you, well, then you just switch over to to this low, which lets you shift gears on manually, but it's really not necessary. So we're gonna go on this this on ramp that's got a nice curve to it, just to give you an idea of the magnetic ride control. And we recently took a competitive vehicle that doesn't have magnetic ride control, and it had significantly more body roll. And that's really what you notice from the magnetic ride control, is just how responsive it is. I mean, this is a transmission made for sports cars, and they're putting it into an SUV. They've put it into the Escalade in the past, which is great, but now it's trickling down to the Chevys, which is wonderful. As you can see, we're going 75, 80, and we got a nice curve here, but there's a little body roll, but considering how massive this vehicle is, how long it is, how wide it is, how heavy it is, that's really good handling. There's a lot that has to happen behind the scenes to make that happen, and Chevy is doing it. So nothing else in this segment has it. Again, you have to go up to Escalade to get something like this, at least in the past. Now that it's available on the higher end Tahoes and Suburbans, I think it makes a huge difference. So you've got the adjustable ride height, you've got the magnetic ride control, you've got now this independent rear suspension. So many improvements to make this a more livable, more manageable vehicle. Let's face it, these are huge. They don't even fit in some garages, 22 plus feet long. But to make it something this big, but it's also this maneuverable and this responsive, it's no wonder why Americans just love SUVs, and these have replaced the station wagons and the minivans, etc. This is what it's all about. And if you've got the money, and don't get me wrong, this high country with a starting price of $75, as tested $85,000, it's not inexpensive by any means. But you don't have to go with the high country. There are 5 other trim levels. You have a total of 6, and each of them have their own, their own little space. I mean, you obviously start with the LT and the LS; those are the base models. But as you move up, you get more features, you get more engine options, you get a lot. I mean, to me, if you're a family, I think you could get into one of these in the low 60s with a 3-liter eco diesel. I think you're going to be doing just great. And you have wonderful fuel economy and plenty of torque if you want to tow, and overall a splendid driving experience. You won't get the 0 to 60 times as you would with this engine, but you'll save so much in fuel that in the long run it just makes sense. So even when we're cruising like we're doing right now, we're at 80. If you punch it, I mean, that's pretty responsive. The 10-speed transmission, which these are not my favorites, but they're getting better and better at anticipating what the driver needs, from the engine, and as a result, you have a terrific vehicle. One of the things it's worth talking about is the second row seat. For the first time ever, it can slide 5 inches, and that may not seem like a big deal, but that could be a tremendous deal if you have people in the third row, or if you have taller, driver and passenger in the first row. There are times you need that extra leg room, and very thoughtful of GM to do that. Definitely about time, because many other SUVs have had that for years. There's a lot of great technology and safety in the all-new Tahoe and Suburban, but there was a recent study by University of Michigan's Transportation Department about automatic emergency braking and just how important that technology is. And there's something in this Suburban that I've never seen before. So I'm driving right now, and I'm actually behind another Suburban, but it's telling me how many seconds I have in an emergency. So it's down to 1.7 seconds. As I get closer, it's going to go down 1.6, 1.4, to the point where eventually it'll just kick in. Now 0.9 seconds. Basically, that's entirely too close, and it's time to back off and give proper distance. I really dislike it when people tailgate me, and especially nowadays, so many people are on cell phones, they're distracted by various things. So automatic emergency braking, as much as I'm not a fan of technology taking over the driver's responsibilities, I will say that I think it's a very important technology, and I've never seen it before measure the number of seconds that a driver would have to respond in the event of an accident. So right now I'm 3 seconds. Well, if the car in front of me stopped, I can definitely respond in 3 seconds. I'd like to think I could respond in 1 second. Of course, that's assuming I'm paying 100% attention, like every driver should be. But I think this is great technology. I think maybe this will actually teach people what, I'm hoping this might be a teaching tool to help new drivers and maybe old drivers with bad habits, develop a higher sense of responsibility when they get behind the wheel, especially a vehicle this big. It takes a lot. I'm 0.7 seconds right now. I may not feel like I'm tailgating, but 0.7 seconds, that's not a long time to respond, and that's why there are so many rear-end collisions. For 2021, there are 6 trim levels. It all starts with the standard LS and up-level LT trims. Then you have the RST, which is a nice sporty trim just above the 2 base models. The RST features unique front fascia and includes black ice finish on the grille, while the interior includes RST-specific seats with stitching in a contrasting color. Next, you have the Z71. Z71 is legendary for its off-road capabilities, and for those looking for something a little less luxurious than a high country, Z71 gives them all that plus the sportiness. One thing about the Z71, you cannot get the diesel engine. It does, however, have standard 20-inch wheels and all-terrain tires. Second from the top is the Premier. The Premier focuses on premium equipment and technology. It adds features such as magnetic ride control, navigation, an 8-inch diagonal reconfigurable instrument cluster, premium Bose 10-speaker audio system, 12-way power vented and perforated front bucket seats, power releases for both rows of rear seats, heated steering wheel, safety alert seat, lane change alert with side blind zone alert, rear cross traffic alert, lane keep assist with lane departure warning, front and rear parking assist. Finally, we finished with the High Country, which we have been driving today. It's a brand new trim for Tahoe and Suburban and is Chevy's top level model, customized with premium features. The design is highlighted by a unique grille with bronze accents and High Country badging. The interior includes High Country sill plates, seat embroidery, and expanded color and trim choices. High Country features the 6.2-liter V8 engine with magnetic ride control standard, 22-inch wheels with chrome inserts, and adds rear pedestrian alert, head-up display, HD surround vision, and the rear camera mirror. Air ride adaptive suspension and adaptive cruise control are also available. What's the bottom line on the all-new 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe and Suburban? The bottom line is that GM is making a very strong statement that not only are they going to continue to be dominant in this segment, but when you add Yukon and Escalade, they really are going to own it outright, probably 70–80%. These vehicles are fun to drive, they're very capable, and all the improvements they've made just make everything else second place to these vehicles. I'm Ron Doran. Thanks for watching. See you next time on The Driver's Seat.